Happy International Forests Day to everyone. This beautiful day where we remember and celebrate our beautiful natural environment, forests, where we remember that we're one with all of creation. It's so easy to get lost and feeling separate, feeling like we're just this physical body separate from every other physical body. And on these beautiful days, it gives us an opportunity to just remember how one we are with everything. So, beginning. Yes, sweetheart? Do you have a question? Shall we start with you? Huh? Your sister does. Okay, so we won't take one in advance. We'll start right with you. Okay. You want to come up? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. When we have that eager of questioners, one should not make them wait. Come here. Yes, okay. You want to sit down? You want to sit down? Great. And if you look that way, then everyone can see you when you ask the question also. Okay. Great. And you can hold the mic. I can hold it for you.
Why does Krishna have a flute all the time?
That's a great question. She said, why does Krishna have his flute all the time? Well, let me ask you something. Let's imagine that you had a flute, okay? Would you play that flute when you are happy? Huh? Would you play the flute when you're happy? Okay. What if you're really, really angry? Do you play the flute then? No. Right? Here. I'm going to turn this on and then you can speak. Okay. So when you're happy, would you play the flute?
Yes.
And what about if you're really, really angry? Would you play the flute then?
No.
Okay. Now Krishna had to go through so many difficulties in his life, right? From when he was very little, even younger than you. Right? Do you know some of the difficulties he had to go through? Well, do you know that Krishna was born in jail? Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, that's the beginning. He was born in jail. And then, during his childhood, when he was very young like you, his very evil uncle tried to kill him. Yeah. Not fun, not nice. And so many difficulties he had. But he just kept playing his flute, like you say. Now, remember you said you wouldn't play if you were angry? So I think in this way, Krishna is very much like us, right? He came in the form of a human. If he's always playing his flute, what does that mean he's feeling inside?
Happy.
Hang on, you got to say that a little louder. What does it mean he's feeling inside?
Happy.
Right. So can you imagine how he could be happy even when he has so many difficulties? Do you ever get angry?
No.
Yeah, really? That's great. Never? Your sisters, your brothers, nobody ever makes you angry? Wonderful. Well, most people Most people, when people do things that are not so nice to them, we get angry. It's normal, it's natural, we want things to go our way. As I want it, it should happen. I get angry. But Krishna, all these things that happened to him, he stayed happy. He kept playing his flute all the time. No matter what challenges he faced, what difficult circumstances he faced, having to leave his beloved land of Mathura, having to leave, even so, all of the difficulties, all the challenges, he kept playing his flute. And it reminds us, it teaches us. Because of course, when God comes on earth, like Krishna, like Ram, they come to teach us, to bless us, and also to teach us. And one of the things that Krishna teaches us is, no matter what happens, you should always be happy. The song of your heart should always be on, even if people are mean to you. Even if people do things you don't like, still you should always, always be happy. And that's why he plays his flute all the time. It's to teach us. See all what happened to him? But he's still playing his flute. Flute is on. For us, one little thing happens and we say, right? I'm not talking to you. I won't play with you. No music. But not Krishna. Song was always on. Flute was always on. It reminds us, that's how I have to be. Always on. Do you think you can do that? Do you think you can be like that? Always on, always singing, always smiling?
Yes.
Oh, great. Wonderful. We should give you a big round of applause. Do you have any other questions? Aha! You can stay. We'll let your sister come up. Then you'll be matching on both sides. Come on this side. Okay. There you go. Okay. What's your question?
Why is Lord Shiva called the destroyer?
Why is Lord Shiva called the destroyer? Beautiful. Okay, so in our creation, 3 things happen. 1, birth, right? We're all born. And then we have what we call sustenance, means sustaining, keeping alive. That's why we eat food, we drink water, we go to sleep, to stay healthy and alive. And then at the end, we die. But when we die, then we eventually are reborn. We have another creation, and it's a cycle. Have you ever seen a tree where the leaves become brown and yellow sometimes, like in October, November time? Have you ever seen that anywhere?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
You saw that someplace? Okay. So there's a lot of trees in the world where the leaves are green in the springtime and the summer. And then around October, November time, those leaves become brown and red and dry. They fall down. They die. They come onto the ground. And then all of that leaf that falls on the ground actually becomes this great food for all of the flowers and the new trees that grow in the springtime. So it's a cycle. Birth, staying healthy and alive, and then dying. But when we die, whether it's a human body, whether it's a leaf, it goes back into the creation. Okay? So those are the three things. When we say God, G-O-D, G means generator, the one who creates. O means operator, the one who sustains, who keeps things going. And then D is for the destroying, G-O-D. Now in our tradition, we say the generator, the creator, we call him Brahma. Have you heard of Brahma? Okay, so Brahma, can you say Brahma? Here. Can you say that louder?
Brahma. Brahma.
Okay, so Brahma is the creator. And have you heard of Vishnu? Well, you've heard of Krishna. So Krishna is an incarnation of Vishnu. Can you say Vishnu?
Vishnu. Vishnu.
Okay, so Vishnu is the sustainer. And from Vishnu, we have so many avatars, so many incarnations, like Krishna, like Ram. And then we have Shiva. And Shiva is the one who destroys. But Shiva is not mean. Shiva is divine. Shiva is wonderful. Shiva removes things so that we can have a new birth. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been sunburned?
No.
You never got sunburned? Lucky you. Okay, so I've been sunburned before. You know what happens when you get sunburned? Should I tell you? So your skin becomes all red like a tomato, and then it falls off. Yeah, doesn't hurt though. Doesn't hurt. Just one tiny, tiny little layer on the top falls off. The stuff that was like a tomato red. And then underneath it, you have this beautiful new layer of skin. Okay? Now, Shiva is that which, if I have burned myself, became like a tomato, and this top layer of skin is hurting and burned and has lost its juice, its life. Shiva is the energy that removes that so that underneath it is a beautiful new layer of healthy skin. So Shiva removes that which is old. I'll ask you another question. Have you ever tried to put on a pair of pants or shoes and you find that they don't fit anymore? I bet that's happened because you're growing. Huh? So have you ever tried to put on your old shoes but your feet are too big? Huh? That must have happened. Right? Now what happens if you try to wear your old shoes? Huh? What happens if you try to wear your old shoes?
They won't fit, but if you keep on trying, they'll break open.
Exactly. The shoes will break open. Exactly. Exactly. Now, when the shoes break open, what does that mean?
That means we have to get new pairs.
Exactly. 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 So Shiva is that energy that breaks through the old shoe so that you know, now I need a new pair. And now who's the creator? Who's the generator?
Lord Shiva.
No, Shiva's the one who causes it to break when you're already too big for it. Who's going to give you the new pair? Brahma.
Brahma.
Remember, Brahma is the creator. So when you've made the shoes are too small, they're old, they don't fit, they hurt, they're not healthy, they need to be removed so that you can have a new pair that fits, that's good, that's healthy. So Shiva is the one who removes from us things that are keeping us stuck. Now, sometimes it's your shoe. Sometimes it's your anger. Now, you don't ever get angry. You told me that. Do you ever get angry?
A bit.
Okay.
A bit.
Okay, good. Good. So, when you get angry, how do you feel inside? Does it feel good inside or not so good inside?
A bit good.
Okay, tell me. How does it feel when you're angry? See, when I'm angry, it doesn't feel good at all.
A bit
But
good.
it feels a bit good. Okay, a bit good. And does it also feel not so good?
Yes.
Which is more?
Not so good.
Not so good. Do you ever feel jealous sometimes?
Yes.
Does that feel good or not so good?
Not so good.
Not so good. What about you?
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. So we have a lot of different emotions and things in our minds that don't feel so good. And they're not so good for us. Whether it's our anger, whether it's our jealousy, whether it's all the ways that we are stuck in our minds. You're very young. You are not stuck in your minds yet so much, thankfully. But the rest of us, look around. We are all so stuck in our minds. And Shiva comes in and removes that stuckness and sets us free. If you talk to older people sometimes, if they're very honest with you, a lot of times they'll tell you that in their mind they feel like they're almost in a jail in their own minds. They're upset, they're angry, they're jealous, they're frustrated, and it feels like they are stuck. And Shiva is the one who frees us from that, who removes, destroys the stuff that is not healthy and good for us. The ignorance, removes that so that we can actually see the truth and the light and love and goodness. So Shiva does not destroy that which is good. Nothing to worry about. Shiva only destroys that which is not so good. So that then we can have a new creation of that which is really good. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you. Wonderful. Yes. We'll end with that. They can stay and then we'll end with that. Pujya Swamiji had told me that one of you had had a question that had come up earlier. You had it. Okay.
Pranam.
Pranam.
My question is a bit general.
I'm sorry?
My question is a bit general, it's not personal.
That's okay.
Yeah, it is, you see the Hindu Dharma, which is, says the Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. It is Dharma which is Manavata for human being. But unfortunately, the people which are common mostly, which are not so much educated, we are divided in jati, very caste and all that. No? And people who are highly educated, they feel that it's not their concern. They are above this religion, dharma and all that. This is something which is for low kind of people. So in general, a philosophy, a kind of living is in danger of peril. Sometimes I may be wrong, but I got a feeling.
Okay.
So kindly say what we should do, and I will be grateful if you reply in mix Hindi and English.
So, in general, जब हम सत्संग में आते हैं तो हम दूसरे लोगों का जो इग्नोरेंस या बुराई उसके बारे में हम ज़्यादा चिंता नहीं करते. हम अपने स्वयं का इग्नोरेंस, इल्यूजन, उसके बारे में हम सोचते हैं. क्योंकि जब तक हम अपनी ही मन को शांत ना करें, जब तक हम अपनी ही ignorance को दूर ना करें, we're not going to be of any benefit to anyone else. It's very easy to look at others and to point the fingers, or to notice, oh, these people are living like that. Oh, these people are living like that. But when we go deep, and satsang is a time for us to go deep, it's a time to look at ourselves. Now, when you speak about people of higher castes feeling like religion is not for them, first of all, I think it's a big generalization. There's a lot of people of every caste who are deeply, deeply religious. What I would say is, more than worrying about what different people are doing in their religion, in their mind, in their puja, how close they are to God, worry about how close am I to God? How deep is my religion? Samne wale is religious or not religious, wo to unke upar hai. That's between him and God. End of the day, उनको भगवान को फेस करना पड़ेगा कि या मैंने अपनी जीवन आपकी चरण में रहा, or I didn't. But that's not our concern. Our concern is, how am I living? Am I living according to Dharma? Am I living according to my spirituality, my beliefs? Or not? And the truth really is that आप कोई भी जाति हो, जब तक अपनी जीवन में धर्म नहीं है, we cannot actually be happy. जितना भी पैसा हो किसी के पास, जितना भी power, name or fame, until and unless we have a deep connection to the divine, and it doesn't matter what our lineage may be, what our tradition may be, even what our religion may be. However we worship the divine, however we connect with the divine, but unless we have that connection, we will never be deeply happy. And so I would say, focus first and foremost on your, and then share that with others. Share that with others. And yes, I agree on the level, not on a caste level, but on the level that jahan tak apni dharm keval philosophy mein hai, we don't benefit. We only benefit when it's in our day-to-day life, when it's how we really live. If something is just in my mind, just in books, it's not going to benefit me. I need it to be in my heart. इसलिए हम कहते हैं कि ज्ञान योग, real ज्ञान योग, is not separate from bhakti yoga, is not separate from karma yoga. They're simply three different ways into the same river. But if my jnana yoga does not make me love God and serve God, then it isn't real jnana. Then it's just academic facts and bits of knowledge. Real jnana, when I really know God, then you love God. And when you really know God, then you know God in all of creation. You know God in the leaves that are hanging from the vines. You know God in the trees in the forest. You know God in every creature around you. So you can't harm anyone. And there's automatically that love. So if it's just philosophy in a book, it's not going to benefit me. And yeah, there's certainly plenty of people who live just according to knowledge in books who aren't benefited. But the question is, what about us? मैं कैसे benefited हो जाऊं? मैं कैसे अपनी ज्ञान से भक्ति की ओर, भक्ति ज्ञान की ओर, दोनों कर्म की ओर? How can I live in this Triveni Sangam of real awareness? बाकी लोग जो करेंगे वो तो उनका कर्म है. Just 1 second, I want to just have a chance to take hers. Sure. Just 1 second, he's going to give you a mic.
Yes, one would like to ask a question regarding International Forest Day and connection with nature. One will just take some time to formulate one's question, just 2 minutes.
Sure, just recognize we're live and people all over are listening. So as...
Okay. Yeah. Yes, so I have been living in jungle for the past 6 years, jungle in the forest. And now, after a few months earlier, I just left the forest to travel the cities, the holy, so-called holy cities, and to see what's happening there. And first one went to Vrindavan. So one didn't find any forest there. When Vrindavan is supposed to be, Vrinda is Tulsi, and one is forest. So it was very ironical. One couldn't find Vrinda, nor one, nor forests, nor Tulsi. And in place of that, there were just buildings and everywhere, and garbage and trash. And the cows, they were all saying Gopal, Gopal, Krishna, Krishna, Gopal. Gopal means the one who takes care of cows.
Yes.
And the cows there were treated so badly. All of them had infections. One checked everything. And then one had these questions. So what is actually happening here? This is so ironical. And then one came to Rishikesh. One felt one is going to get fresh air, mountain air here. And one came here, buildings everywhere. And one was quite in a shock because one had come straight from the forest where one was used to fresh air and stuff. And over here, there was all this pollution. And then when one came to Ram Jhula, one couldn't find any place to ground one's feet because one grounds one's feet every day, one keeps it on Mother Earth, and one couldn't even find any place to ground one's feet to the extent to which there is a disconnection from nature. So after a severe disconnection from nature and creating a plasticky, concretey, blissless world, people's definition of divinity doesn't include connection with nature and the elements, the very life source. So all this is very mind-boggling. And I do appreciate Bhagawatiji that there is respect being given to Ganges, Ganga Ma here and everything. But one also wants to ask, at a practical level, where can we actually bring this change? But of course, like you said, we shouldn't care about the actions of others, only our own actions. But I think that, I know that it's one's good karma if one speaks out against what is wrong and just propagates what is right. So that's what one would want to ask you.
Sure.
Sure,
I get it. So you've pointed out something that is absolutely true all over the world, tragically. This is what I was speaking about very, very quickly on the banks of Ganga, is this vision of development. We live in a world where development means we cut down forests and we build condominiums, we build factories. It's a horrendous tragedy. This is where we here at Parmarth Niketan have been working under Pujya Swamiji's vision and leadership for so many years to help bring about green models of development, eco-friendly models of development. And this is what's needed. And this is where every one of us needs to be part of the solution. But here's the dilemma, and the dilemma goes deep. Every one of us wants to own new things. We want new shoes, We want new clothes, we want new mobile phones, we want new cars. Well, all of those have to be produced somewhere. They don't come out of the atmosphere. They're produced somewhere. They're produced in factories. Those factories are put up when we clear cut the forests. The factories then spew their waste into the air, into the water, into the soil. But in a free economy, there's something we call supply and demand. And the dilemma is we've got this demand for more, more, more. And the tragic reason for that, interestingly, I think comes back to the forests. The tragic reason for that demand is we are so disconnected from that experience of the divine within us, which if we spent more time in the forest, if you've ever spent a night camping, or you've taken a hike in the forest, or you've gone backpacking, it's blissful. You never think, wow, I wish I had my motorcycle. Wow, I wish I had, all 15 pairs of my jeans. You live on very less. And it's blissful. I know in my life, some of my most ecstatic, precious, sacred moments have been spent in sleeping bags, in tents, or lying in the dirt, or trekking in the mountains, backpacking. There's nothing else that you wish for. But because we've been disconnected from actual nature, we've gotten disconnected from our own internal nature. We've started thinking that we are lacking in some way. We've gotten wrapped up in Maya, of thinking that we need to have more, own more, acquire more, achieve more. We've started believing all of these advertisements that we see that tell us that, these shoes, this handbag, this car, this mobile are going to make us happy. So we've become shopping addicts. Everything we see online says, click here, order now, and we do like we're robots. Which means that factories keep getting produced. And those factories keep spewing pollution. And people then need stores to buy things in because, my God, what if you had to walk 10 extra feet to get a cup of coffee or a pair of shoes or a handbag? We've got to have our streets lined with 50 stores selling the same things because we've become addicted to filling our internal emptiness with external things. And as long as I need to fill my internal emptiness with shoes, with clothes, with electronics, we're going to keep cutting down trees and building factories. And so we are literally causing our own misery and also death of the planet. I mean, we are the ones causing the environmental destruction, the climate change. And this is where the solution, interestingly, goes back into the self. When we are able to experience the truth of who we are, that deep connection, this is why I tell people you're depressed, go hug a tree. Literally. Get your bare feet in the dirt. Hug trees, be in nature, help others. Don't think that an afternoon shopping is going to do anything for your depression. The more we can reconnect with nature, A, the happier we will be. And then B, the more assets we will be to Mother Earth. We'll no longer need to cut down the trees. The fashion industry is one of the largest contributors to environmental destruction. It's a massive waste of water. It's a massive source of pollution in our waters, on our land. How many of us have closets full of clothes that we've worn once or never at all? But that we bought because we saw an advertisement or a mannequin in a store window or something. If we really recognize that our happiness, our real happiness, comes not from acquiring more and accumulating more, but from connecting more, from sharing more, from giving more, we will actually be happier. Our bank accounts and pocketbooks will be happier. Our families will be happier because we'll have to work a little bit less because we won't have to make so much money to keep buying everything. So they'll be happier. We'll have more time to spend with them. And Mother Earth will be happier. So it's all this interconnected cycle of where we've gone off track. But what I would say to you is, Abibi bahut bache hue hain. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Whether it's Vrindavan, whether it's Rishikesh, whether it's all over the world, Abibi bahut bache hue hain. There's a lot left. There's so many places. I mean, you walk in back of Parmarth, you'll walk straight into the jungles. You can walk and walk and walk straight into the jungles for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. So, yeah, we've had far too many, I agree with you, 200%, far too many stretches of land all over the world cut down to build, whether it's cyber cafes, whether it's shopping centers, whether it's factories, whether it's condo complexes, whether it's Pizza Huts, whatever it may be. But Abibi bahut bache hue hain. And that's up to us. Each of us, not pointing fingers, but allowing each of us to actually be the change. And we can be. Every one of us can be that change. But we have to want to be it. And that's where our spiritual practice is so powerful, because it actually gives us that connection and that real happiness that's not about how can I have more, buy more, accumulate more, but actually how can I experience more in this moment. And if you haven't tried the therapy of lying on your back and looking up at the stars at night, or watching the waves on the ocean, or watching a flower open its petals to the sun, it's far better than any shopping therapy anywhere in the world. So as we allow ourselves to reconnect with nature, we'll automatically take care of her the same way that families take care of family members. So yeah, thank you for that. And I want to just call our beautiful, beautiful little angels back to sing a bhajan before we conclude our satsang this evening. Come. But I need the microphones again for them. Okay. Maybe you can sit right next to each other and share the microphone. What do you think about that? Oh, we have another mic. Look at that. We are so prepared. Look at that. You each get your own mic. Okay. Should we close our eyes? Should we all close our eyes for your bhajan? Okay. But see, there you go. There you go. Because they're not like the super powerful concert mics. Okay. Yes, we are ready.
It